All right. So once again, welcome to Through It All tonight. Of course, Through It All, for some of us just joining us for the first time, the name and title of this program was got from my book, Through It All. You will see it up there. Through It All, my book is all about, it's a memoir of my trials and then my triumphs, all the challenges I've been through in life. Of course, I had polio at age 2, had issues getting to university, had issues getting someone to marry me, I guess because of the disability. Thank God I got my own wife. And then the challenge of having children came in. And after 7 years, we had the first child. After another 7 years, we had the second child. Then we had problems with business. We had a business that did very well. And then along the line, it nosedived. And for several years, we were in serious penury. Could not eat. We could not do anything tangible. But the Lord came the way it normally comes, and it turned the table around. So Through It All is all about Through It All. This program started out of the title of the book. Of course, I've been going around to share even the testimony of what God has done for me, which I captured in the book. Then it occurred to me that, yeah, others too are going through it all. Others too are going through challenges in life, and people need to hear them. A lot of people are going through a lot of things this time, and God has taken some of us through some challenges in life, and He has taken us to the other side of them. And so this is all about encouraging people. It's all about using our stories to tell people if God can do it for A and B and C, obviously we do it for you also. All right, so I welcome every one of us to Through It All tonight. Incidentally, the Through It All of today is me, because today is day. Today she would have been head of every one of us last year. Of course, Dubai, and that was going to be a glorious one. But she went not to Dubai, she went to a place better than Dubai, which is heaven. And so I'm programmed to Moramoke Ulubodi Adebo. I'll just play this video. Memory.
Hide me now under your wings. Cover me within your mighty hand. When the oceans rise.
Sorry.
Hide me now under your wings. Cover me within your your mighty hand. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above.
All right, so our soul is already resting in peace in heaven, and we are all working towards meeting her up there. All right, so I've tried to say happy birthday, but of course, she's not here. So then today is our birthday, posthumous birthday. All right, so let's go into the business of today. My guest is someone very special. I met her, I think some 3-4 years ago. She walked into my office and she needed our service. And of course, in the course of discussing, we just discovered that somehow we have a lot of things in common. And of course, she's somebody that also had gone through a lot of challenges in life. But as the Lord lives, she is who she is today. The strength of the Lord had sustained her up until this point, and she's really high. So, ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Mrs. Adejoke Afolabi. All right. Mrs. Afolabi, good evening, ma. How are you today?
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, ma. And you're really looking very fine tonight.
Wow. Thank you, sir.
Well done, ma. All right. So thank you so much for accepting to come share your story with us on Through It All. I really appreciate that. Yes, I've tried to read up the story in your book, The Making of a Beautiful Home. Very, 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 very inspiring book. We'll still talk about the book later, ma. But I want you to take us through your story. But first, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Who is Mrs. Adejoke Afolabi?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I really want to commiserate with you for the passing on to glory of your sister, Romoke Olugodi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Because you mentioned that name. I was at a leadership conference at Daystar when you shared your story Through It All, and you were mentioning your sibling, and eventually she was the last one, and they now named her Romoke. So you are now saying, does it mean that all the ones before her were not Omotoke? So it really touched me tonight. Really touched me tonight to hear that. As Christians, we should not sorrow. The Lord will comfort the family.
Thank you, Amen.
The Lord will keep us.
Amen.
Everybody holds that debt.
It's true. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
So coming to introduction, my name is Adejoke Afolabi. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a pastor, a social entrepreneur, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria.
Wow.
All to the glory of God.
Hallelujah.
I was born and bred 60 years ago at a very small village in Ijebu-Igbo, Ogun State of Nigeria. So I'm married. I'm married to Abayomi, Otaibayomi Oluwaoje, Oluwayomi Afolabi from Okakoko in Ondo State. And we've been married now for the past 34 years to the glory of God. So I give God all the glory. So that's who I am.
All right. Nice to meet you, ma. All right. So I want you to take us through your story. And like I always say, the best way to always say it, at times when I say, okay, tell us your story, somebody say, I don't know where to start. And I'll say, start from the beginning. All right. So, ma, you're going to start your story from the beginning. Take us from the Genesis to the revelation of your story, ma.
Wow, that's a lot. Do you think you can finish that within this time frame?
We'll squeeze it to the time frame.
All right, sir. I was born 60 years ago, and His grace has really been keeping me. So from the beginning, I had a very humble background, and I was born into a family where we enjoy extended family support. Not in these days when it is to your turn to Israel. Everybody is on their own. But in those days, everybody looked for each other's welfare. So we enjoyed that. I lost my father at a very tender age. I was 6+ then. So, and my mother then was about 42 years old. And she had 6 of us, and I was number 4. So I was really exposed, seeing her striding out to make sure that things are okay for us, fending for us, shuttling from one end of town to villages to cities to make ends meet, but all with the support of the extended family, our immediate family. So it's been a wonderful time that I grew up seeing her that, and it's really encouraged me. So because of the extended family support, so we are not all left for her. So one way or the other, we were connected to our relatives. I was with my aunt, which is our own sister, our own younger sister. So I started living with her at a very young age of about 5 years. Even when my father was still alive, around 5 years, when she got married. Because when my mother got married, she was living with my mother. So by the time she got married, they gave me to her, so I was with her. So it was when my father died that she brought me back home. I was around 6+. So it was thereafter I started primary school, started primary 1. So right from primary 1, then in primary 2, then my younger sister too started primary 1. So at that tender age, my mother will not be around. Then for me, the last born of the family was still very young then. So my mother carried him in all her trade. But I was at home with my younger sister. And then 2 of my elder brothers too were with other family members. Then our eldest brother, the most senior of our siblings, that one was in college then. It was in Molusi College then. So 3 of us were at home. So at that primary 2, I was doing the cooking, caring for my younger sister. When we get to school, I was always an angel. She will be telling me here and there that this one is beating me, or that one is beating me. So I'll be there to protect her. So when we are in school, I'm an angel. But when we go to, then we'll be at loggerhead. We'll be at loggerhead. So that was the fun growing up. Then also because of the extended family support, our grandmother too was there. Our grandmother was there.
Don't worry, go ahead, man.
Okay, our grandmother too was there, who was a very astute businesswoman to the core, And right from the early stage, she indoctrinated us into entrepreneurship. At that early stage, what she does is she buys materials from the town, from the city, from Ibadan, like the gunpowder, then clothing materials. She take it to the interior in the villages. She will take it there, sell it to the farmers, the hunters. Then so she did a sort of exchange, like a barter trading. So whatever she brought from Ibadan, she will sell to them. She will collect their farm produce. She will take it to Ibadan. So when she comes back, then we'll be there. Then when people are having when people are having parties or social engagement, like burial, they needed to buy clothing material. So she will sell it to them on credit, and then they will be paying back instrumentally, like an hire purchase sort of. Okay. So through a thrift method. So every week they will be paying back. So as young as we were then, we were the accountant. So you'll be asking us, add this to this, add this to that. So you can say, add 1 shilling to 2 shilling, add half pence to it, minus this. So by the time he mentioned 1 or 2, 3 items, then we will look for our biro. Then she will say, look at you, your coconut head. Is your brain in your biro? Can't you add that up? And those things she could add it by herself. So she really trained us. And then at that tender age, she was sowing it into our spirit then with the grandchildren, that every one of you, no matter the level of education you have, that business is the best, that every one of you must have a business enterprise. But then we didn't understand. We were thinking that maybe she didn't value education. That was why she was telling us that we should focus on business, that business is the in thing. So at that very early stage, we had that business acumen as we were growing up. So, and that was part of me. Right from primary school, I have started business. I will prepare coconut chips, fry it, put it in a newspaper paper, or even I will use the side, sell it to my classmates, then make some more than 100% gain. So by and by, so at that early stage, I had that business understanding, and that has been part of me till now. So in everything, I always see business angle from it. And once I see it, I go for it. So then coming to my academic performance at my early stage, to the glory of God, I was an above average student. That's right from my primary school, even to the secondary school level. My position was usually between 1st to 3rd position. 3rd was the highest position was the least position I've ever taken throughout my academic career. So to the glory of God. So then at that early stage too, we had this value for education. For me, I always see that the only escape route for me to make it in life, that I need to focus on my education. So irrespective of any trance we pray as children, then the focus is always that this education is only the source of breakthrough. And I really did give it my best. Then at that early stage, after the demise of my father, then my aunt again, at the age of 12 years, at the age of 12, when she had to relocate out of our town, she came for me again. Then she settled at Agowe in Ogun State as she was a teacher, a reputable teacher, very strict, a disciplinarian to the core. So, and our husband too was a teacher. retired now. So my aunt is late, Mrs. Yetunde Anuluwapo Adeye. So she was the one that made me who I am today. She laid the foundational blocks in my life. She poured more than a decade of her life into me. And that's part of what has made me to be resilient, to face anything, not to say no, not to give up on anything. So it was what I went through when she was training me. So staying with her then, it was not funny, because she doesn't take no for an answer. You made a mistake, you go for it. She will not overlook anything. And everything is structured out. Every one of us, we know what you are supposed to do at every point in time. And then at that time, we were at least more than 3 or 4 at a time with her, staying with her and her family. So you can imagine the kind of mindset those people had then, not unlike these days that everybody is just to him or herself. So while with her, we were going to school. My other cousins were there. Her husband's relations were there. Then she would still have a housemaid, because we all of us still have to go to school. We still have to go for school. So in the course of that, every one of us, we have our duty. We know what to do part-time. For example, when we were growing up, I never knew that when that one point that beans can be grounded with machine. Mommy will give it to us on a Saturday morning. Everybody will wash. Then thereafter, they will distribute the beans to us. We go into various houses, use this stone to grind it. So it was when I grew up that I knew that they can use a machine to grind my, and it will be very delicious. And then after we cooked it, the mommy will share it to everybody in the other tenants within the house at Agowe then. So that taught us generosity, it taught us hard work, it taught us to be diligent in whatever we're doing. So the training was so intensive that at a point I felt like running away. So I even made an attempt to run. There was an holiday we had then. Usually she doesn't allow me to go for holiday, but that long back she allowed me. And by the time I enjoyed the freedom and I came back, I felt like, no, I cannot continue with this. And I said, I'm going back to my parents. She looked at me, she laughed. She said, okay, go and pack your things. I packed my thing, I got home. By the time I got home, luckily I met my mother, because my mother was not usually at home. It's either he's in the village or has gone to Lagos or has gone to Ibadan in her trade. But luckily that day I met her at home. And I said, I saw me with my load. She said, kilo shele. I said, mi ò gbé bẹ̀ yẹn mọ́, I'm not living there again. No. I said, no, you cannot sleep. You cannot sleep. You have to go back. I said, no, I will kill myself. I will commit suicide. He said, no, don't call me. He started appealing to me and everything. Somehow she had her way. And I said, this load, me, I will not carry it. He said, okay, I will carry it. And she followed me. So by the time we got back there, that evening, we met my auntie outside, and she saw my mother. I said, Mommy, don't mind that, Jare. So that was it. So from that day, it got into my head that the only way I can escape from this woman is to face my academics and then make it in life. That is the only way I can gain my freedom. So from that day, I remained focused on my education. She taught us business too, because while she was teaching too, she went into trading just to make sure that she turned around her income to be able to take care of people around. So I learned that from her to be industrious, to be multitasking, to have multiple streams of income, not to focus on one income. So she taught me all that. So So let me leave that angle. So after I finished with her, I gained admission into secondary school. I was in boarding house. And while in boarding house too, when we are on holiday, we still come back to her. So when we finish, or when the holiday is over, we go back. So until I gained admission into higher institution, it was Lagos State Polytechnic then, and I continued my education. So I was studying accountancy, OND in accounting. So while doing that too, I was pursuing my professional exam in ICANN, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So then after the OND, I opted to start working, and at the same time, on a part-time basis, to be studying for my professional exam. So in the course of that too, so you know, ladies now, women, so the marriage issue too came in. So I had to be juggling between marriage, family, work, then my professional exams. So all of them combined together at the same time. And it was not that easy. But with the determination and the focus that I had, that I have to make success of whatever I do. So that really helped me. So despite the challenges here and there, I remained focused on that, and I was able to achieve that. Then I have to talk about my marriage as well. So I met my husband through my friend. My friend too. We met at the Polytechnic. She's late now. She's late now. She was Miss Yodun Alibushu. So she's late now. So blessed memory. So it was through her that I met my husband. So she was my bosom friend. And then our own colleague in our office too was a bosom friend to my husband. So that was how the whole thing goes. So then my husband's friend traveled out of Nigeria to United States of America. So asking him to take care of my friend, who was our friend, who was his friend. But along the line, as he was taking care of the friend, so he saw something, and that was how the whole thing started. So that was how the whole thing started. So, and then from the background that I had, coming from Ijebu, then my husband from Ondo State, so they see them as Arailuke. Then my whole family, their own understanding then was that whoever their children is going to marry, that they need to know. They must be able to know the family, know everything about them, so that their mind will be at peace. So for me now to take that step beyond our town, beyond our state, was an affront, which was not funny. So it was a battle we fought for over 17 years before they finally gave their consent. But for me then, 17 years was after 17 years they gave their consent.
Wow.
My first child then was 17 years before we went and did the engagement, the proper marriage, the parental consent. So it was that love, that determination. So in the course of the marriage, when the marital challenges comes up and everything, because I have made up my mind that I have made this choice, I have to stand by it. So no matter what comes, I have to take it. So at every point that challenges come, I have to face it squarely. That look here, okay, you can't go back home. You can't afford to go and face them, because they have said, they told you this choice you have made. If anything goes wrong, you are on your own.
Yeah.
So then, by marriage, what really helped me was an encounter that I had with Christ. And that was the grace of meeting my husband. I celebrate the grace of God upon his life, that it's a gift that God gave me, because it was through that relationship that God really redirected my steps back into Christianity. Into Christianity. Then I forgot to mention that my auntie, Mrs. Adeye, was a Christian out of our own family. My whole setup, my background was an Islamic background. On my mother's side, my father's side, everybody were fully Islamic. Because it was that my auntie that opted out, either by virtue of education or civilization or exposure. We didn't know how she came about it. But then it wasn't an issue. So when there's Christmas, every one of us will go to our house. When it is Ileya time, she will come with her family and we celebrate everything together. So living with her, so we go to church, although then I'll still be grumbling, I'm a Muslim, I can't eat pork, I can't do this. She will say, that's nonsense. So we go to church. So while in secondary school in the boarding house, she insisted that I must go to church. So every Sunday we come to town to our church so that she would see me. So from that, this seed of Christianity was being sown in my life gradually. So by the time I was on my own, I came for this, the higher institution to the college. So I met my friend, my late friend. So she was a Muslim. And she said, what's my, I said, I'm a Muslim. He said, what's my Muslim? And I said, Aisha. He said, Aisha, how come you are not praying this Muslim Islamic way? And I said, all these things they are saying, I don't know and I don't understand. And that's why I'm not interested. And she said, no, I'll teach you. So she bought me a pamphlet. And then so through that, out of peer pressure, I just followed and I took it again. My own is anything I want to do, I do it to the best. I do it to the best. I don't know how to do things halfway. So when I entered that Islam with her, we did it to a very great depth. To the extent that that rosary that is usually 199, for me and my friend, we made our own, we joined 10 together, that we have our own 1,000. So that before we go to bed, if you want to say Alhamdulillah, 10,000, we do it before we go to bed.
Wow.
So it was as deep as that. We are tying our hair, doing all this and everything, all this. So that was how we were living. So until this grace I encountered through my husband. So my husband is from a Christian family, but his own is no wala, go on your own, go on my own. So she told me, and my husband told me that being a Muslim doesn't change anything, that will not affect the love he has for me, that if I want to continue my Islamic line, I can go ahead, then he can go ahead on his own. And when our children grow up, they will make their choice. They will make their choice. But I look at myself and I said, if I should allow this, then that's a dangerous thing. That these children may grow up and not picking either of the religion, and that would be a disaster. So since I made up my mind to follow, to accept him as my husband and to love him and for everything, so I just rolled up the mat and then start going to church. Nobody preached to me. I started going to church. So the moment I started, I didn't look back again. To the extent that my husband was even complaining that your own is too much now. What is it? I said, me, anything I want to do. Because then the understanding I just had was that both of them are the right way to connect to God. Whatever you want to do, just do it well. That was the understanding I had then, until I got deep into Christianity and I really saw the light. So, and it is that grace that has really sustained me. Even when challenges came, how I managed those crises, the marital challenges that surface, cultural differences, different troubles that came up. Marriage is full of, it's not a bed of roses, that they say. When you say love is blind, by the time you get into the marriage will open that eye and your eyes will be very, very clear. So thank God for the encounter I had with Christ. I held on to Christ, and He has been my pillar. He has been my strength. He has been the grace that has stabilized my marriage. So I shared some of those challenges. I don't know whether I'll still have time to share that.
It's actually those challenges that we need now.
Okay. So
Take us through them all.
Okay. For the marital challenges, so let me share the one that was really key, and it really touched the foundation of that unit. So that was when I had my first child, my son. So and I was still shuttling, going to work, going to classes, sitting for exam, managing home, and then and my mother-in-law too was around to assist me in taking care of the child because I didn't have any housemaid. So, and at a point, the boy was about 1 year, and my mother has to go back to meet her husband. So they said in their culture, when they come to take care of their grandchild, so part of the joy and the blessing is to now carry the child, go back with him home. This is the child I've gone to nurture. This is my testimonial. So, and at that point, my husband too had been transferred to Abuja. That was when the federal government parastatals were moving to Abuja. So, and I was in Lagos with my son, with my mother-in-law. So when my mother-in-law said she is going with my son, I said, hey, what will happen? My husband is in Abuja. You are taking my son to Dosi. Then I'll be here in Lagos. Then automatically the marriage, it will be easy. If anything goes wrong along the line, then that will be the end of the marriage. And I said, no, this can't be. So, and that it was a world war. So it was like, because initially when my husband introduced me to the family, and they realized that I was an Ijebu woman, and people from Iloke, they're always afraid of Ijebu. So it was like, so, but along the line, was able to convince them. Then one of my husband's cousin who came for an holiday saw me, and she took my picture, gave it to my father-in-law. And the moment my father-in-law cited my picture, he said, wow, this is the wife of my son. And my father-in-law keyed into it, and he gave me the support. So when this crisis now came, when I was resisting that my son should not be taken to Ondo State, and my mother-in-law should not go with my son. So it was now like those who were against me and my father-in-law have suppressed. They now said, hey, we told you, the Ijebu woman have started to show you her color. So how can she say you should not carry her son home? So it was a battle. And my husband have agreed. He said, what is in it? They love you now. It's the love they have. That's why they are taking your son. So to me, I didn't see it that way. So I fought tooth and nail. And at that time, I was at the final. I just had one paper to qualify as a chartered accountant there. And if I failed that, because it was a reference that I was reciting, and if I failed that reference, they will return all the one I have passed, all the papers I have passed. I have to receipt all the papers in that final level again. So it was a very, 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 very traumatic period for me. So my exam was there. I could not read. I was crying. I was praying. I was weeping. So that my son should not be taken. So then what did I do? After praying and praying, then I took an action. My husband was in Abuja, so I wrote a thesis to him. I wrote a thesis giving reasons why my son should not be taken away, why I should be allowed to take care of my child, that I will take good care of him, this and that. So I did all that. So, and then there was no phone. Then if you post a letter, I can take almost a month before it will get to Abuja. But then there was this courier service then, speed post of Nigerian Postal Services. So I did the thesis together, almost a full scrap sheet, about 4 pages. So I put it together, went to post office, sent it by the speed post. Within 24 hours, he received it. So when he got it, and then they usually have an assignment in Lagos once in a month to pay salaries of some of their staff that are still in Lagos. So he now came, and it was about a day to my exam without my paper. It was a taxation paper. So he came. I now said, Professor, I've seen your thesis. So I've told them not to carry your son home. In fact, I was like, wow. I was so happy. The thought of you lifted up me. So I won that battle. My son, I got him back. It wasn't taken away. Then I went for my exam. To the glory of God, I passed it, and I became qualified as a chartered accountant. So I won on both sides. But there was still battle that continued because of that. It felt that I won that. I won the battle, but I didn't win the war. Will I say I won the war? I didn't win the battle.
No, you won the battle, you didn't win the war.
I didn't win the war. So the war was still raging on underground. Woman, this and that. So by the time I had my second child, which was a girl, so by the time she was 6 months again, my mother-in-law came up again, said she's taking her. She's taking her home again. So then I had a colleague in the office. I shared the concern with him. Now said, he's a guy. So he now said, okay, don't worry yourself. If they carry your child, they are helping you. If they don't carry her, you will take care of her. Because if you continue to pull this thing, it will scatter your home. I said, okay. So to their surprise, to my mother-in-law's surprise, I went to the market, did shopping for them. I didn't complain. So at 6 months, so I weaned her from breastfeeding. She went with her home. Then I was in Lagos. So she went with my child. But while she was there, in Lagos, I held on to God. I said, God, my daughter is coming back to this house, and Mama is not coming back with her. How that will work out, I don't know. I just make that innocent prayer to God. So those were the signs, and those were the things that really made me to know that God answers prayer. So from that point, I never joke with prayer, and I don't. There's no prayer there's no situation, and there's no mountain that God cannot handle. So that was what. So my mother-in-law took my daughter, and then at 6 months. So when she was 9 months, it was about getting to 9 months. So I told my husband, I said, our daughter will be 9 months, so she will be due for immunization. The 9 months immunization, that please, if Mama can bring her back to Lagos so that we can go for the immunization. Now said, okay. So he got home and told Mama that the immunization. Mama said, no, we have doctor here. You don't have to come to Lagos for the immunization. Me, I was praying. I didn't know. I was just praying, trusting God that my daughter will come. How it's going to come, I don't know. And Mama will not come with her to Lagos. So my husband discussed with her, and she said, no, we'll look for hospital here. There are clinics. We have doctor. I can take care of her and everything. So my husband said, because I told my husband that it's better where we have started so that they can follow all the stages so that we don't miss anyone out. So Mama refused. And while they were discussing that, Mama didn't know. My husband just carried his daughter, carry a few things. I think she didn't even carry anything, because he went to her with the official car. Just put the child in the car and all the way Lagos, from Ondo State. Lagos. Before Mama would realize like this, my husband had gone with the child. So I was just at home around 4 p.m. in the evening. My husband just came in. He just gave me, said, take your child. I said, where is Mama? He said, is it Mama you want? Can't you take care of your child? I said, I can take care of her. And then I remember my prayer. I remember my prayer points. I remember my prayer point. Hey, God. So that was how I got victory at that side to the glory of God. So
Hallelujah.
there's nothing God cannot do. There's nothing God cannot do.
Now we need to move quickly to your profession. I knew you had issues at a point where you were working. You've really risen to the top. And then there was some politics. I want us to take us through that, at least to the extent you would want to talk about it. And then, of course, what happened after that? How did God, how did it turn things around for you?
Okay. So after working in an auditing firm, so I crossed over to the public sector, which is an insurance company, ICO Insurance, American Insurance, International Insurance Company, that is now ICO Insurance. So I was employed at the level of a deputy manager, and to the glory of God, by the grace of God, the diligence and the focus and favor of God, so I rose to the level of an assistant general manager, so handling the investment portfolio of the company. And in an insurance company, investment is the life wire of any insurance company, because those premiums need to be invested to earn more money so that they can use it to cover the claim. So, so I was one handling that portfolio. So along the line, we had some challenges because of policy somersaults. Government policies always changing, the economic not very harsh, then the volatility in the capital market, because most of those investments are in stocks. Some of them too are invested in oil and gas, and in oil and gas, a lot of government pronouncements that may always turn around. So some of investment that we had with some of our clients too now went bad to the extent that the company was really very jittery about it, because it's affecting meeting the obligations of the policyholders. So it really became a very serious concern. But in the course of that, because my boss that I reported to then was the general manager of finance. So along the line, there are some management also coupled with the bad portfolio. So everything was hung, and at the end of the day, the ball comes to my table that for that thing to happen, that maybe we were at fault. So a lot of things happened. He left. Then thereafter, the focus was on me. Then the pressure was that maybe it was a fraud, or maybe the money was intentionally given out to wrong hands, and then for deliberately putting the company into trouble. So, and at a point, they want some incriminating information from me that they can use to nail him. But somehow I said, with what I have, this is what I have done, this is my portfolio. What we could do within what is available, we did it. But it was the business that turned bad. So, to cut the long story short, before I knew it, they invited in the EFCC. So I was arrested with my boss for 2 weeks. I was incarcerated in the EFCC. But got in there, initially I was down, I was crying, I was weeping and everything, that I'm not supposed to be here. Why would they put me here? And even people who put me here too, they don't have any ground and everything, that I didn't do anything. So, but at a point I realized that crying will not solve anything. Crying will not solve anything. In that cell where I was with about 5 other ladies. Then the men's section, there were many. Those ones, they were almost 200. We were less than 10. So it was in the section of the men, they usually have a fellowship. So we'll be following them, But when I came to myself that if I just keep on weeping, then devil will have his way. I will spend a long time here. So I decided to take the bull by the horn. I stood my ground. I said, I have to come out of this place. So, and I started leading those people in prayer. We have vigils, to the extent that even men will be complaining that we are disturbing them. I said, we will disturb you unless they open this gate. I said, lift up your head, O ye gates. Be lifted up, you everlasting. Every day we will pray and everything. So to the glory of God, in the course of the investigation, I told them I did what I need to do in the course of my job. Is the business that got back. Documents are there. Every investment was approved. So they said, do I have evidence? I said, they are there. We have investment committee. We have minutes. We have approval. So they followed me to the office for almost 2 hours on my feet, making photocopies of those evidence, brought it back to EFCC. So when they saw it, they said, wow, that this is a case of a business that gone bad, that it was not a fraud, that they are meant for fraud, to investigate fraud and then do what they need to do. So that was what saved me at the end of the day, and I was released. So coming back to the office, it was like, you cannot be here. They asked me to resign. So I resigned. My entitlement was not paid. They said the case is still pending until they sorted it out. So that was how I left, without knowing what to do next, not even a cover. So that was how. So, and I continued with life. I dusted my CV. I was using official car. Everything was withdrawn and everything. So on a bike, I was going on VI to submit application. So I was not ashamed. Like, he said that I stole money. So if I stole money and I'll be riding on a bike, so I did all that. When job was not forthcoming because the case was still pending with EFCC, they just released us. We're still going. So if I get a job, there will be a need for referral, and they will not give me a referral. So I was not even looking at the point of looking for a job. So then I started looking inward. So all my business acumen started coming in. So under that tension, under that pressure, so the idea of COHCASEL, the concierge and home care services, was birthed. So the passion, because the experience I had while working as a working mother, that and people are going through it, that how can I fill in this gap for working mother? How can I add value? How can I contribute my own quota to society? So
sorry, tell us a little bit of what does COHCASEL? What do you do there?
Okay, thank you, sir. So concierge and home care services. Concierge means running errands. So what we do is running errands for family, caring for their elderly people, especially, these days now that the greener pastures, most children now, they leave their parents, they travel abroad, and parents are here. So we take care of them as caregivers. We take care of them like their own children. So then nannies, we take care of children, working mothers, so that they can be have peace of mind. So we care for their children with passion. So this staff that we recruit, they are not the regular housemaid mentality. So we train them to have values, to have focus, that wherever they are working, they are going there to add value. So for every dime that is being paid, every cover that is being paid, they must offer commensurate value to support it. So they are trained. We check their background, we confirm their guarantors, then we train them, then we continue to follow up with them. So if there are issues, we follow up them. Then we follow up with our staff, we follow up with our clients, so that we ensure that the relationship goes beyond just job. So we make it a very friendly and a comfortable one.
And it was at the point of you running background checks on those
yes.
staff.
Yes, that one of my my friend and one of my partners in the business introduced me that I should come to you, and we put an appointment, and the way you welcomed us, and you really, in fact, I was really encouraged. You encouraged us and you welcomed us so warmly, as if we met for many years. And that has really helped and has given me the push, that, because initially I was always scared, because when we heard that nanny or they kidnap children, this and that too, so I was scared. Most of the time I was scared. But at every point in time when I feel like I want to drop this idea, an encouragement will just come. I will just see the hand of God, that God is giving me this as an assignment that is beyond just it's beyond just maybe making money. That is a ministry, it's a passion, it's a quota that I need to contribute to the society. So, and it's really, we've been there now for about 7 years now, and God has really been helping us, has given us wonderful staff and wonderful clients that are really enjoying our services.
Yeah. And the Bible says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that
Yes.
love God and are called according to his purpose. So
Yes.
obviously, if what happened in your former place of work, if it had not happened, you would not have become a CEO. And, and you say the beautiful thing about business is that, yes, you start at a point, but business don't stay single. You know, there's a way business just keeps opening up. You start with one idea, and then one day somebody will just ask you and say, don't you offer this service? And then suddenly it becomes part of another service that may actually now be a big thing. Well done, man. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Then apart from COHCASEL, before COHCASEL came in, because when that issue of job cut off, I sold ice block, we fabricated ice block machine. Even where at the point of starting, I didn't even have an idea where the money would come from, but we just took a step of faith, and God provided for the vision. So help came. We bought the first machine that could fabricate about 40 units of ice block. From there, we're able to buy another one that can do 60, another one that can do 100, and we went on and on. From there to we went into fish farming, catfish farming. We are breeding fingerlings. When getting market for fingerling became a problem, we started raising it to table stock. So in the course of the table stock too, we had a farm at Ogijo after Ikorodu. So when labor became a problem, shuttling between Lagos and Ikorodu became a problem, bad roads, traffic all the time. So we shut down the pond. And what we now do is to engage in the processing of the catfish. So because there's a lot of chain in the value chain in agriculture, so we're now processing. So we smoke the catfish. We smoke the catfish, we remove the gut, cleanse it, and then smoke it using a gas oven. And it's of very high quality. So we are still doing that right now. Right now, we send it abroad, we sell it locally. So during lockdown too, when many businesses shut down, and the only thing that was moving was food, I went into Pomo housekeeping. Because that's the major vocation in my town in Ijebu. If you go there, it's a factory on its own. So I said, this one too can bring money now. If you put money in bank, they were paying 2% interest then. So I said, on this one, I can make at least 10% even every month. So went into that, and then I can also use that to help other people who want to do the small business. I send it to them, wholesale, those who want to eat direct. So like play, I'm still selling Pomo now. I said dry one, and you can soak it, and it's very, very delicious. It's a special delicacy. So many parts. So anything business. I see business in anything. In anything.
Wow. We thank God. We thank God
then
for
the ministry. Then the ministry. The ministry. So when I became a worker in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, initially I felt that because of the my job, I felt I could not combine the two. But one of my colleagues confronted me, "Are you a worker?" I said, "I didn't have time." So I said, "You didn't have time." So when I got home, I was like, so if I get to heaven now, I'll tell God that the job you gave me, you didn't have me time to serve you. So I said, whatever it is, the way other people are finding me, I must find me. So I enrolled as a worker, and I went through, and from there, I was posted into the prayer department, and that has been my calling, my passion. And from there, as a member in the department, I became an assistant HOD. I became an HOD. From there, I became an altar minister in Redeemed Christian Church of God. From there, I was posted and given a parish by the grace of God. And in all this, my husband has been a very solid. I've been really a pillar of support for me. Has been a pillar of support for me. In all that I do, he has been giving me a very solid backing. Ministry, in my career, in business, he has always been there for me. So it's really indeed a blessing. And I thank God for the wonderful children too he gave us, to the glory of God. So parenting too is another thing. So all those ones can be seen in my book, The Making of a Beautiful Home. The Making of a Beautiful Home. Everything is
All
there.
right. So tell us, so what made you write this book? Let's wrap up with the book. Why did you write The Making of a Beautiful Home?
Okay. So the idea came to me because I looked at my life, how God helped me, and those things I passed through. So I felt it would be selfish of me if I had to keep this to myself. And considering of what is happening in our generation, our youth, any little thing, they are depressed, they go into depression, they cannot stand any stress. So that if I can put this down in writing, that at least generations coming to will benefit some of those life lessons that I garnered in the course of my 60 years of sojourn in life so far. So in every area, in terms of moral value, character, academics, career, marriage, parenting, everything about how far God has helped me. And what I can say in all this is the God factor. It's God factor. The power, the Christ has been my solid, he has been my cornerstone, he has been the solid rock. And he has shown that he has never failed, he cannot fail, and he will never fail. So each time I remember that no matter the situation, no matter the mountain, I'm not moved. So, and that is why I'm sharing this, so that whoever goes through it, we know that there's no situation that is beyond the power of God. It's just to stand in him, trust him, then do your own bit, because we need to do our own bit. When you pray, you take action. When you pray, you take action. Don't just pray and then you fold your hands and expecting manna to drop down from heaven.
Wow. So faith without works is dead.
It's dead. It's dead.
Yes.
It's dead.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, of course, I've gone through the book, and of course, there are a lot of things you wrote in the book that I know time won't allow you to say. So, for people that need to get a copy of the book, The Making of a Beautiful Home, where can they get the book? How can they have access to the book?
They can reach us on my phone. I'll put the phone on the chat.
Okay.
Or they can reach me via phone and make a booking, or they can place their order via email. And the email is beautifulhomeswithjoke@gmail.com. Beautiful homes.
Beautiful homes with Joke. The
beautiful homes with Joke. At gmail.com.
Gmail.com. All right. So everything one word, beautiful homes with Joke at gmail.com. All right.
At gmail.com.
So, all right. I've sent that to the chat room.
Then my phone number. Okay.
Okay. How's that?
Then my phone number.
Okay, ma.
Okay.
Just call the number. 080, yeah.
0803.
Yes, ma'am.
470.
470.
77.
50.
50.
All right. So 08034707750.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Um, Thank you so much, Ma, for coming on the program. Thank you for taking time to share your story with us. And I thank God for the way He bailed you out from the shackles of EFCC. I won't be surprised if some people that were arrested, if they are still there, just not because they committed any fraud, but because they can't come up with evidences the way you came up with those evidence to cover up for yourself and that made you to be released. So, so we thank God for doing that for you, and thank God that now it's become a testimony. You know, it's become a testimony that God is faithful and is faithful to His own children. The Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but God always delivers His own from every affliction, from them all. So, and of course, thank God, it was that affliction that led you to the series of businesses that you are doing now, to the glory of God, you know, and thank God for that. I'm an apostle of everybody becoming an entrepreneur, no matter what you're doing. The way I find myself in business always make me always want to tell people, yes, you can also do it. And thank God for your grandma that that schooled you.
That laid the foundation.
That was the MBA that you went even as a small girl.
Yes, yes,
yes. So we thank God. Thank you so much, Pastor Mrs. Afolabi. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Thank you for coming. Of course, maybe at another time when we want to talk about the home and we want you to tell us about parenting and not your story, maybe we'll bring you back at that time.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so
much, sir. God bless you for doing a good job.
Thank you.
For touching lives.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Eshema, God bless you. All right, everyone, that has been Pastor Mrs. Adejoke Afolabi. Her story, the first time she told me, I know that there is nothing God cannot do. And thank God for the way God showed up for her. So thank you all for joining this edition of Through It All. Another edition is coming up next Thursday by God's grace. Next Thursday, like I've announced earlier, the Kabiyesi of my town is my guest next Thursday. Oba Awidapo Olubayo, of course, is a medical doctor, and for him to accept to go sit down in our village, even the way he ascended to the throne, everything was divine. Sincerely speaking, everything was so divine. And he's going to come next Thursday by God's grace to share the story of God's faithfulness in his life. And of course, he's a man that has been organizing crusades and outreaches in that village, and is the one spearheading it. He's carrying out medical outreaches, treating the villagers free of charge. You know, of course, he's a surgeon, so he does the surgery by himself. He's really doing so much. At times I ask him, so why did you come to sit down here? Of course, despite the good things you've been doing, but I think he just took it up as a calling, and he's really doing good. So next week, Oba Widapo is going to be sharing his story with us on Through It All. And of course, the Thursday after, one of my darling friends, and Aburo, is going to be my guest, Dolapo. Dolapo was somebody that rose up so fast in the corporate setting. She was an HR expert. And then all of a sudden, some things just started happening to her while she was working. And she became another person. I won't let the cat out of the bag. So 2 weeks time, Dolapo will be sharing a so inspiring story of how some negative things happened to her while she was on her job, yet God prevailed on her behalf. All right, so everyone, thank you so much. It's been nice having you. There are some people here that don't miss Through It All every Thursday. I don't take it for granted. Thank you all for the support. All right, so till we come your way again, next Thursday, by God's grace, the Lord will keep crowning this December with his goodness and his favor and his mercy and his bounty in your life in the name of the Lord Jesus. Maybe there are some things that you have trusted God for from the start of the year, and it seems as if they have not happened up till now. The Bible says that the Lord makes the end of a matter to be better than the beginning. And God is going to make the end of this year to be full of the promises coming to fulfillment in Jesus' name. All right, God bless you all. Have a wonderful night rest. Thank you, man. God bless you, man.